First Contact and Ultimatum. Grand Admiral Zex Terrell of the Kamari Empire stood motionless on the command deck of the Eternal Dominance, his flagship and pride of the Imperial fleet. 6 translucent appendages floated gracefully around his crystalline central mass, each housing a specialized sensory organ that allowed him to process information at rates incomprehensible to most species in the galaxy. The vast holographic display before him showed a small blue-green planet rotating slowly in the darkness of space. Unimpressive, he communicated telepathically to his second, Corvash, another primitive world to add to our collection. Corvash, whose form consisted of a shimmering, mercury-like substance contained within an exoskeleton of living metal, moved closer to the display. The scans indicate they've barely managed to escape their atmosphere, Admiral. Their most advanced weapons are nuclear fission devices and chemical propellants. Standard assimilation protocol should suffice. The Kamari Empire had conquered over 300 worlds in the last millennium alone. Their technological superiority was absolute, their methods efficient and ruthless. They had encountered countless species, from gaseous intelligences to silicon-based hive minds, and all had ultimately submitted to imperial rule. The conquest of Earth would be nothing more than a footnote in their glorious expansion. Initiate first contact, Zex Terrell ordered. Deliver the standard ultimatum. They have 12 Earth hours to surrender unconditionally. The communications officer, a towering insectoid with gleaming black carapace, manipulated the controls with practiced precision. Transmission complete, Admiral. Message delivered to all major population centers simultaneously. In the United Nations Emergency Council chamber in Geneva, Secretary General Maya Chen stared in disbelief at the holographic message hovering above the central table. Representatives from every nation on Earth sat in stunned silence as the alien ultimatum concluded. Surrender your world to the Kamari Empire within 12 of your hours, or face complete eradication. Resistance is not only futile but unwise. We await your submission. The Russian representative was the first to break the silence. This must be some elaborate hoax. It's not, replied Dr. Sanjay Kapoor, director of the Global Astronomical Defense Initiative. We've detected a fleet of 17 vessels in high Earth orbit. Their energy signatures are beyond anything we've ever observed. What are our options? Chen asked, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. General William Hayes of the United States Space Force leaned forward. Conventional military response would be suicide. Their technology appears to be centuries beyond our own. So we surrender. The British representative's voice was sharp with indignation. No, said a quiet voice from the end of the table. All heads turned toward Dr. Ilara Voss, head of Project Prometheus, a classified research initiative that had operated in the shadows for decades. We activate Protocol Omega. A heavy silence fell over the room. Only a handful of people present knew what Protocol Omega entailed, but they all recognized the gravity in Dr. Voss's voice. Are you certain? Chen asked. Once initiated, there's no going back. Voss nodded solemnly, her eyes reflecting a mix of determination and regret. The aliens gave us 12 hours. We only need 6. Back aboard the Eternal Dominance, Zex Terrell was reviewing conquest strategies when his tactical officer interrupted. Admiral, we're detecting unusual energy signatures from multiple locations on the planet's surface. Explain, Zex Terrell demanded. I cannot, sir. It's technology we've never encountered before. The quantum fluctuations don't match any known species in our database. Impossible, Zex Terrell dismissed. They're a pre-spacefaring civilization. Their technological advancement has been thoroughly analyzed. Perhaps they were hiding their true capabilities, Corvash suggested. The tactical officer's appendages twitched nervously. Sir, the energy readings are increasing exponentially. Whatever they're activating, it's drawing power at an alarming rate. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice, Dr. Voss stood before a massive quantum computer, its crystalline structure pulsing with an otherworldly light. Similar facilities existed hidden in the Amazon rainforest, the Mariana Trench, and the Gobi Desert, all now operating in perfect synchronization. For 50 years, humanity had secretly prepared for this moment, not with conventional weapons or defenses, but with something far more terrible. Knowledge the universe had never intended them to possess. Project Prometheus wasn't a weapon in the traditional sense. It was a fundamental understanding of reality's darkest corners, discovered accidentally during experiments with quantum entanglement in 2043. The project's founders had immediately recognized its potential and its danger. They kept it hidden, not just from potential alien threats, but from humanity itself, knowing the temptation to use such power would be too great. All Prometheus sites report ready, Voss's assistant confirmed. Voss nodded grimly. Begin entropy reversal sequence. On the Eternal Dominance, alarms suddenly blared across the command deck. Admiral, the science officer's voice rose in panic. We're detecting massive space-time distortions originating from the planet. Impossible, Zex Terrell roared. They can't possess such technology. Sir, these readings suggest they're creating localized reversals in entropy. The fabric of reality around our fleet is becoming unstable. Preposterous, Zex Terrell dismissed, though uncertainty crept into his thoughts for the first time. Prepare the demonstration strike. Target their largest military installation. Sir, the weapons officer interjected. Our targeting systems are malfunctioning. The space-time distortions are affecting our ability to lock onto planetary coordinates. For the first time in his 3-century career, Zex Terrell felt something akin to fear. Establish direct communication with their leaders. Now, the holographic image of Secretary General Chen appeared before him, her expression unnervingly calm. This is Grand Admiral Zex Terrell of the Kamari Empire. Cease your interference immediately or face immediate destruction. Chen's reply was measured. Admiral, we did not seek this confrontation. You brought war to our doorstep. We're simply responding in kind. Whatever technology you're employing, it cannot save you, Zex Terrell warned. The Empire has conquered civilizations far more advanced than yours. Chen smiled sadly. I don't think you understand, Admiral. We're not trying to save ourselves from you. We're trying to save you from us. The communication ended abruptly as massive spatial distortions began to manifest around the Imperial fleet. The fabric of space itself seemed to fold and twist in impossible ways. All vessels, emergency retreat. Zex Terrell ordered, abandoning protocol for the first time in his career. Maximum displacement now. But it was too late. The space surrounding the Eternal Dominance began to warp and distort, creating a pocket of altered reality where the normal laws of physics ceased to apply. Across the command deck, systems failed as the very atoms that composed them began to behave according to rules the Kamari had never encountered. As the Eternal Dominance struggled to break free of Earth's orbit, Zex Terrell received one final transmission from the planet below. A simple message that would soon be spread throughout the galaxy as a warning to any who might threaten the blue world. We are humanity. We come in peace. But if you bring war, we will show you terrors beyond comprehension. Run. Humanity unleashed. 3 massive Kamari battlecruisers descended through Earth's atmosphere, their gunmetal hulls reflecting the sun's light as they positioned themselves above major population centers. Despite Grand Admiral Zex Terrell's command to retreat, several captains had defied orders, convinced that humanity's display of power was nothing more than an elaborate illusion. Captain Meyerleth of the battlecruiser Inevitable Conquest hovered his vessel over Beijing, weapons systems fully charged. Begin the bombardment, he ordered. Show these primitives the price of defiance. As the devastating energy weapons prepared to fire, something unexpected happened. The targeting systems suddenly displayed thousands of identical human signatures across the city, perfect duplicates that appeared and disappeared in milliseconds, making it impossible to isolate true targets from false ones. What is this? Meyerleth demanded. Some kind of primitive countermeasure. The science officer's voice trembled. Sir, these aren't illusions. They're quantum duplicates, Localized probability distortions. The humans are somehow manipulating quantum states on a macroscopic scale. Impossible. Meyerleth dismissed. No species has ever mastered such technology. Fire at will, saturate the entire area if necessary. The weapons officer hesitated. Sir, our energy cells are draining. Something is pulling power directly from our systems. In a secure bunker beneath the Kremlin, Dr. Nikolai Volkov monitored the alien vessels through specialized quantum viewers that allowed him to perceive multiple dimensions simultaneously. Energy Cephan successful, he reported to Dr. Voss over the secure quantum entanglement communicator. We're redirecting their power to the global shield network. Project Prometheus had never been designed as a traditional weapons platform. Instead, it gave humanity access to aspects of reality that even the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy had barely begun to theorize about. The energy siphons weren't physical devices, but localized manipulations of probability that caused energy to flow from higher concentrations to lower ones across dimensional boundaries. Across the globe, hidden facilities activated ancient technologies that had been buried for decades, waiting for this precise moment. In the Mariana Trench, Dr. Amira Hassan activated the Poseidon Array, a network of quantum nodes that could manipulate gravitational waves. Gravitational lensing initiated, she reported, targeting invasive vessels. The inevitable conquest suddenly found itself struggling against invisible forces as the space around it warped and bent. The massive battlecruiser, designed to withstand the most extreme conditions of space, groaned under pressures it was never meant to endure. We're being crushed, the structural integrity officer reported, panic evident in his telepathic communication. Hull breaches on multiple decks. Meyerleth, still unwilling to accept defeat, ordered a desperate counterattack. Launch all strike craft. Target their power generation facilities. Hundreds of smaller attack vessels deployed from the battlecruisers, streaking toward Earth's surface. But as they entered the lower atmosphere, they encountered another impossible defense. The very air around them seemed to solidify in an instant, trapping the craft in pockets of hyperaccelerated molecular bonds, essentially turning the atmosphere itself into a solid barrier. In the Amazon facility, Dr. Carlos Reyes monitored the molecular manipulation grid with satisfaction. Atmospheric solidification successful. 87% of enemy craft neutralized. The remaining Chimera vessels attempted to retreat to a higher orbit, but found themselves unable to break free of Earth's gravitational pull, which now seemed to operate according to entirely new principles. Aboard the Eternal Dominance, which had managed to maintain position at the edge of the solar system, Grand Admiral Zex Terrell watched in disbelief as his invasion force was systematically neutralized by defenses that should not exist. How is this possible? He demanded of his science council. Their civilization showed no evidence of such technology. The eldest of the council, a being who had studied the physics of over 6,000 worlds, spoke slowly. Admiral, I believe we have encountered something unprecedented. The humans aren't using technology as we understand it. They've somehow gained access to fundamental aspects of reality that even the oldest civilizations in the galaxy have only theorized about. You're suggesting they've weaponized theoretical physics. Zex Terrell's disbelief was evident. Not weaponized, Admiral. They've transcended it. The energy patterns we're detecting suggest they're not building devices to manipulate reality. They're altering the underlying mathematics of reality itself. On Earth, the coordinated defense continued as the remaining Chimera vessels found themselves increasingly unable to function. Their communication systems received impossible signals. Their navigation systems plotted courses through dimensions that didn't exist, and their weapons fired into voids that consumed energy without effect. Secretary General Chen addressed the Emergency Council again, her expression grave despite their apparent success. Dr. Voss, what's our status? Protocol Omega is functioning beyond expectations, Voss reported. The invasion fleet has been neutralized. However, we've detected a much larger vessel at the edge of our solar system, observing but not engaging. Can we reach them? Chen asked. Yes, but I recommend caution. Our capabilities are substantial, but not unlimited. Overextension could have unpredictable consequences. Chen nodded. Open a channel. Aboard the Eternal Dominance, Zexteril received the human transmission with reluctance. The holographic image of Secretary General Chen appeared before him once more. Admiral Zexteril, your invasion force has been defeated. We offer you this one opportunity to depart our system peacefully. Zexteril's pride warred with his survival instinct. In 3 centuries of military service, he had never retreated, never admitted defeat, but he had also never encountered a species like humanity. What are you? He finally asked, genuine curiosity overcoming his anger. Chen's expression remained neutral. We are what necessity made us. 50 years ago, our scientists stumbled upon knowledge no species was meant to possess. We recognized its danger and kept it hidden, even from ourselves, hoping we would never need to use it. You forced our hand. Why reveal your capabilities now? You could have continued your deception, allowed other empires to underestimate you. Because we want you to deliver a message, Chen replied. Humanity wishes to join the galactic community in peace. We have no desire for conquest or domination. But should anyone threaten our existence again, they will face what your forces face today, and worse. We've shown restraint, Admiral. We've disabled your ships without destroying them. Your soldiers live, though they are currently contained. And if I refuse to be your messenger? Zexteril challenged. Chen's expression hardened slightly. Then we will ensure our message is heard regardless. The choice is yours, Admiral, but be aware that our patience has limits. The transmission ended, leaving Zexteril to contemplate the impossible situation. After a long silence, he turned to his second. Prepare a full retreat. Alert the Imperial Senate that we have encountered a species of unusual capability. One that should be approached with diplomatic caution rather than military force. Sir, Corvash seemed shocked. The Empire has never encountered humanity before, Zexteril interrupted. And if we're wise, we will ensure our next encounter occurs on much different terms. As the Eternal Dominance prepared to depart the solar system, Zexteril composed his report to the Imperial Senate. He included all data they had gathered on humanity's capabilities, though he knew much of it would be dismissed as impossible. The final line of his report, however, he knew would not be ignored. In all my centuries of service to the Empire, I have conquered hundreds of species and thousands of worlds. Yet I give you now the only advice that matters regarding humanity. Do not provoke them. Do not threaten them. And if they ever turn their full attention to conquest rather than defense, run. On Earth, as the Cameri fleet retreated beyond the solar system, Dr. Voss stood in the Antarctic facility, watching as the quantum computer slowly powered down. Protocol Omega had worked, but at what cost? Humanity had revealed itself to the galaxy as something far more dangerous than a simple pre-spacefaring civilization. The secret they had kept for 5 decades was now exposed. Was it worth it? Her assistant asked quietly. Voss considered the question carefully before answering. We've survived, but we've also announced our presence to a galaxy that may now fear us more than understand us. We've ensured our safety, but possibly at the cost of our future. As night fell across the planet, humans everywhere looked up at the stars with new awareness. They were not alone in the universe, and now, the universe knew exactly what humanity was capable of when threatened. The message would spread throughout the galaxy. Humanity comes in peace, but if you bring war, there is one rational response.